Well, hello there. On today's video, we have a pretty simple scenario. What if the Indo Greek invasions succeeded at conquering northern India? But sadly, in this video, we can't go into much detail about how did the Indo Greek invasions succeed in this timeline, due to the fact that there's not much historical information preserved. And most of it is on the Indian internet, which I cannot speak Indian, of course. And sadly, this video cannot be as accurate as my other videos due to how much knowledge have been lost of the Indo-Greek kingdom, of course. Well, in the real-life Indo-Greek invasions, three generals seceded from the Indo-Greek kingdom, leading to the invasions not fully succeeding in their goals, and the Indo-Greek kingdom not gaining that much territory. But this will not happen in this scenario. Now, let's talk about religion. Well, the Indo-Greeks adopted Buddhism. There are some elements of Buddhism that got mixed in with Hellenic religion, and they also used Greek architecture. Okay, they have organized city planning, and they use the same marble pillars that the Greeks use, and they have a lot of white buildings. But I wanna say the only city that fully uses Greek architecture is their capital city only. So that's it. But still, the rest of India is gonna be using more Greek architecture, let us say that. So, will the Indo-Greeks manage to spread their culture to the rest of India? Well, in the parts that they control, they will definitely succeed, as the abolishment of the caste system will be definitely pretty popular, and there is no reason to refuse Indo-Greek culture, considering that it's already mixed a lot with Indian culture. I think we're going to spend the first 30 years integrating the newly conquered lands to Indo-Greek culture. I think they might do that by maybe glorifying their buildings and creating new urban centers for India. And I think they might paint themselves as liberators who liberated the Indians from the cruel caste system. And I think they might set up the goal of reunifying India like it was under the Maurya Empire, but also liberate them from the caste system. So, can they unify India by conquering it? Well, the problem is India is a pretty mountainous country, especially at the south, meaning that any invasion will be pretty hard to supply, and also offensive wars will be pretty difficult. Well, they will probably still try, but they will conquer some territories, of course, obviously, but they will not unify the Indian subcontinent. They'll probably fight a lot of wars to unify it, but most likely they will fail. There's a small possibility that they might succeed, but it's not that big. The Indo-Greek kingdom, eventually, like any other kingdom, is gonna become decadent or corrupt, and eventually they're gonna collapse. And how would that look like? Like for an example, how would the borders of a state look like? I think they would look something like this. I believe that the Indo-Greek kingdom will get divided up into four parts. The Indo-Greek kingdom, or I should say the surviving part, the Indian kingdom, and the kingdom of Delhi. And finally, the kingdom of Orissa. Like in real life, the Indo-Scythian kingdom is going to appear and take over the southern part of the Indo-Greek kingdom. The reason why they took over it so easily, despite being much smaller, is because the Indo-Greek kingdom was at the time very decadent and corrupt. I think two other kingdoms are gonna secede from the Indo-Greek kingdom, because the best time to secede from a kingdom is when they are at war, and where they are losing the war, so there is no better time. I think the kingdom of India is going to invade the kingdom of Delhi, since it's a pretty important city and a wealthy one, and also they don't have a lot of population, so they cannot defend themselves properly from an invasion. Afterwards, the kingdom of Orissa is gonna invade the Sapanahana dynasty so they can take their western coast. The Indo-Scythian kingdom is gonna invade all Indian states west of the Indo kingdom due to how weak they are, and we're gonna basically unify that region again, like it was when the Indo-Greeks first arrived. But sadly, soon after, we're gonna collapse into civil war and we're gonna get divided up into three states. Afterwards, the Sapanahana dynasty is going to invade the kingdom of India twice. The first invasion would succeed. The reason why there were two invasions is because I believe they would probably use the peacetime between the two wars to recover their army and be able to take more land. And during the second invasion, the kingdom of Orissa is gonna help the Sakarahara dynasty in hopes of taking some land. Of course, they would win the war, like I said, meaning that the kingdom of Orissa is gonna win some lands from the war. But then the Sakarahana dynasty is gonna realize how weak the Indo Greek kingdom is, so they're gonna invade them a fourth time. After that war, the Indian kingdom is gonna go through some troubles, as the kingdom of Delhi is gonna secede and the western coast is also going to secede from them. Meaning that the Sakarahara dynasty, seeing their opportunity, are gonna invade the kingdom of India and vassalize it. Now we finally reach the AD years, or the years after the birth of Christ, and I believe the kingdom of Delhi is gonna invade the kingdom that controls the former capital of the Indo Greek kingdom. Their Indo-Scythian kingdom is going to invade their new coastal neighbor. The kingdom of India is gonna fight against the Sakarahana dynasty again to stop being their vassal, and they will probably succeed, but one other kingdom is gonna secede from them, seeing the opportunity as their two overlords are fighting against each other. And finally, Kashmir is going to get invaded by the Kusans. The Kusans in real life were a group that spoke the Greek language, which in this scenario are gonna fit in perfectly with the rest of India since they got conquered by the Indo Greek kingdom. And the Kusans are going to invade the capital of the Indo-Scythian kingdom. It's gonna be like a border conflict, basically taking their capital, but the Indo-Scythian kingdom is gonna still exist and have most its land. Meanwhile, in unrelated news, Musira secedes from the Sakarahara dynasty. But sadly, the Indo-Scythian kingdom is going to invade them and take most of their land and keep the rest as their vassal. Why would they do that? It's because they lost a lot of prestige from losing their capital. So obviously, what better way to regain that other than to invade your neighbors? And afterwards, the Kusans are going to invade the Indo-Scythian kingdom, taking even more land from them. Afterwards, the Indian kingdom is gonna invade the rebel country that seceded from them. Meanwhile, the Sakarahara dynasty is gonna invade the kingdom of Orissa and take back the coastal land that the kingdom of Orissa took away from them. The kingdom of Kabul is going to become a vassal of the Kosan Empire, mainly because they're afraid of the rise of them, and it's the best option, it's better than getting invaded by them. Afterwards, the Kosan Empire is going to invade the kingdom of Delhi, finally reunifying most of the Indo-Greek people. The only kingdom that has a majority Indo-Greek population that is not its vassal will be the Indo-Scythian kingdom. But that's it. Basically, we're gonna be all unified under it. The Indo-Scythian kingdom, seeing the danger of the Kosan Empire, we're gonna form an alliance with the Indian kingdom. The goal of that alliance being to defend against the Kosan Empire. But their efforts would prove to be in vain, as the Indian kingdom is gonna have to suffer through constant rebellions, and the Indo-Scythian kingdom has been crippled by years of war with the Kosan kingdom. When they invade, they will simply collapse. And the Indo-Scythian vassal is gonna secede from them. And finally, the Kosan Empire will finally reach the feats that the Indo-Greek kingdom has reached, of unifying northern India, finally again, under the Greek alphabet. The time of the Kosan Empire will probably be known as a golden age of India, due to the fact that most Indians at the time in our universe will be speaking Greek, meaning that they can communicate and scientists could communicate with each other, leading to a golden age of science. Sadly, by this point, it's too hard to predict what happens in the future to how much we altered the timeline. But we can say confidently that northern India will continue to speak Greek and have elements of Greek culture in them. And that's pretty much it. This is the end of the video. You may notice that the video is now animated by a different person. And if you like it, press the like button. If you dislike it, press the dislike button. And that's it. Goodbye.